Hey everybody, Rudiman here, and as you might already immediately be able to tell, I probably sound a little bit clearer. This is a new mic, and hopefully it is good enough that people will stop saying I need a better one. Because a better one would be a much more expensive price point. Alright, so, there's been a lot of comments since the last episode. I want to go over some of them. Camscade suggested I install a mod called Heatmap. I'm going to add that to the description of the video, but basically what it does is at a quick glance it will show you the temperatures of the rooms. So green is sort of comfortable living, blue is cold, red is hot, as you kind of would assume. So that is a new mod that I'll be running. I don't know how often I'll show the heat map, but there you have it. I do have, in fact, a little heat map. Speaking of heat map, let's go ahead and move our bed before we fall asleep. And move the table. Obviously, I'm going to be wanting to live out of here. If I can. I don't need all of the... I don't need all of the space for the farm yet, so I was thinking of trying to pick up and move most of the stuff. I haven't really given thought about the layout, but that will do. Until I get a bedroom and a dining room. Alright, so let's haul this stuff and sort of move out formally out of the cave here. So another comment I received from P. Woland Eddie is about, isn't it a bad idea to store things in shallow water? You're damn right it is, and I shouldn't be doing that. So let's not do that because it will deteriorate. And maybe I even fix that first. There. All done. So another thing I wanted to cover is the fact that cloth is a better heat insulator than the pig skin, pig leather that I have. So that's another thought. Alright, so how good is this bedroom now? Let's see. It's dull. The other one was awful, so improvement, I suppose. So the next thing I'm going to want to do is to queue up another shirt and pants out of the cloth. The leather that I have is going to be maybe a little bit more armor, but it will be less for heat insulation. If you're curious about this, if you just Google textiles RimWorld, you'll get a list of all of the textiles, and if you look at the insulation heat factor, camel hair and hyperweave are the best heat insulators. Hyperweave would be really good for me to buy when I can. Hyperweave is even better armor, except for fire, than Devil Strand. It's kind of the improved Devil Strand. So I'll be aiming to get some Hyperweave, but of course that's only to be traded for, so that's its own little challenge. Alright, so some of the other comments I received. Gimp Samurai asked me to talk about the mods I use and why. So I use, if I look at... off the top of my head, I know the mods I use. So one mod I use, obviously, is Heatmap. I just added that. That's to sort of, at a glance, be able to see what is a good temperature or not. Now, that I have really only 2 rooms I care about, obviously it's really easy to tell what temperatures there are, but once I have a whole colony, Heatmap will come in handy. I also use the colonist color bar, so that at a quick glance I can see how happy they are. Once again, with one colonist only, one pawn only, this is not that high of a concern, but eventually it will become more important when I add more pawns to the sort of colony I've got going on here. If you're wondering why I'm getting rid of the conduit, let's see, who suggested this? Joey suggested this, or I don't know how to pronounce your name, I'm sorry. But basically the idea is if I have a short circuit on any one of these conduits, they'll burn up the farm pretty good. I do plan on adding a popper in here. But obviously, as you can see from this view, I installed cabling around the perimeter, and maybe I even bump out the steel outside and put a block here in the corners. But I don't need the cabling on the inside anymore as a result. Hi said that it's just a little bit of a quality of life improvement, but if I change all of my priorities to 2, then when I really want to do something important, I can switch it over to 1, and that's pretty good. Now, firefight, doctoring, and basic, I always keep as 1. The reason for, if you have a fire, chances are you want to probably put that out before you do anything else. Doctoring, that one's kind of obvious. If you have someone wounded, you're going to want to patch them up ASAP. And basic would be flicking. And the only time I tend to flick things is when I have a power shortage and I have to switch from a, to my backup batteries, and I want to do that immediately. Generally, with flicking, with basic, release prisoners, open containers. I mean, all this stuff is stuff that might as well do right away, right? And then the rest of my priorities, I don't much care about. Okay, so we're going to relax a little socially. This is the adhering to the Night Owl restriction that we had. I did get that question a few times, and yes, I'm running Night Owl. It looks like we're going to crank out some more meals. And then I'm going to want to work on... I forget often how unbelievably... You know what? Actually, don't even worry about that. We're sort of done down here. Because I can install these tables Let's do this min-maxing style, right? All right. All right, we'll min-max this to be our functional place here. So put the stool here. Then reinstall the bed like that. And the reason the bed's like this is because chances are this is more comfortable, than the stool. Yeah, it's 34% more comfortable than the stool. There we go. And now we don't really have use for anything down here. And we've min-maxed the hell out of everything inside this farm, which is our temporary... Are we browning? No, we're not browning out. I just need to reconnect. Let's look at the power. So it's just this light, and then these tables. Good. All right, that works. Oh, a little bit of a psychic soothe, that will help. Okay, we are unloading inventory. Yeah, we have a lot of steel and random stuff. All right, let's get this random light on. There. And now, if I want to, let's say, grow and plant cut, There we go. That's what I'm looking for. We had a bunch of fully grown plants. Now, a lot of people have been asking me about nutrient paste dispensers. I just don't prefer them. It's just a personal preference. There is no good reason I'm not using them. They're fine. Like I said, it's just a personal preference. Ooh, that sounds really close. So, one of you pointed out that this right here is a slate wall, and there's an infestation behind it, and I will attend to that soon. I'm sort of excited about that. Let's go ahead and stockpile just random stuff here. I'll even call it random stuff for lack of a more creative title. And that way, we'll eventually get rid of this stockpile. We're sort of done with the whole cave thing. As much as it is nice to be able to move around really, really quickly, the constantly having to sleep from the Mechanites is kind of getting tiresome, for lack of a better pun. What are we making? Oh, yeah. So we're making our, the better shirt and better pants that we'll wear. Ooh, excellent quality. Got me intrigued. And we're going to force wear them just because the pig leather might appear at first glance to be better, but it isn't. So if we look, this insulates, let's say, 2.4. Whereas the one I just made insulates 3.9. Now, it doesn't seem like much, but every little bit helps, I guess. Just trying to min-max my exposure. All right, so let's go ahead and haul as much as we can from down here back up to our lovely base. And this is the pick up and haul mod, as you can see in full in its full glory. I'm trying to keep items out of the farm area because we don't need to gum up the farm bedroom. It's mediocre. If we fill it with random crap, it will decrease in quality. So another question I got in comments a bunch is why I stagger my heaters. So as you can see, the coolers aren't staggered at all because I'm not really getting cold enough to bother. But the reason I stagger my heaters is, or these coolers rather, is sometimes, and that's not true at the moment. All right, so right now, they all need to be on because it's hot out. But sometimes when they don't need to be out full blast, if you have, like let's say you have it set to 70 degrees and all three of your coolers are set to 70 degrees, either all coolers will be on or all coolers will be off, which can spike power requirements. It's just not that efficient necessarily, because let's say you barely need any of the heaters to be on, and you have like 10 of them, right? Pretend I'm talking about heaters now. The moment the temperature dips, all 10 heaters kick on at once. It's a lot of power. And then the moment you reach the temperature, all heaters turn off, and then they almost immediately turn back on again to maintain the temperature that you wanted. So it's just not a very quick, efficient way of going about. I'm going to move this because it's just slow moving around, I guess. It's not a really quick or efficient way of going about getting the right temperature. So right here is a perfect example. The room is right now 73 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to use Fahrenheit because it's smaller units of measurement than Celsius. So this cooler is on high, this cooler is on high, but this cooler is on low. This cooler is on low because it is cooler than the target temperature. So I don't need this cooler on to maintain temperature. And as a result, I'm saving myself 180 watts of power. And as soon as this goes above 74, of course, this will kick back on. And then once it goes below, it kicks back off. If I had all three of these set to 70, chances are they'd be on full blast all the time because it's much more difficult to reach that target temperature. So that's sort of the, let's call it pedagogy of why I'm doing what I'm doing. So what I'm doing now is realizing that I definitely need another cooler here. So I'm getting rid of the wall, and I'm gonna drop another cooler in there. All right, so 16, 26, all right, 16, 20, 24, 28. And it will have a lot of work to do just because I exposed it to raw air briefly. And let's go ahead and remove the roof right here. Actually, it wouldn't hurt to add some roof, to be honest. Let's go ahead and look at the roof overlay and drop some roof where it belongs. Just to make it look nice. All right, so now the freezer here has reached freezing temperatures, which is what we were after the whole time. And we are working on our marble stockpile to be able to create a dining room. Next to the dining room will be a rec room, or maybe, well, it can't be here because of the wind turbines. So I'm also gonna have to get moisture pumps somewhat soon. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to try to haul the rest of that stuff out of there because there are potentially bugs somewhere in here, I guess. And I heard bugs like up here as well. Honestly, in the middle of the summer, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, I'm gonna do something very risky. Because I'm excited. Okay, so instead of playing horseshoes, let's try to get all this out of there. And I bet any of you trying this probably have already created like a comms beacon. I'm doing it a little slow. I'm going at my own pace, which is maybe slower than I should. What are you trying to put on? Don't put that stuff on. Oh, you're trying to tend to yourself. Yeah, that makes sense. As you can see, the pick up and haul mod is not that useful when the things are really heavy, which has been the case. I'm going to temporarily shrink this zone to expand my regular stockpile. And I'm not really letting them sleep because I'm evil. Of course, I can always move the blocks, and maybe I'll auto do that. Move the block storage outside. Because they take up a lot of room, and there is really no good reason for them to be inside as a result. Alright, I'm going to take some wake up. Alright, so the blocks are inside. I can also do that to the uranium. I think this is set up as steel. Let's call this metals. And hope that no one steals from them. Alright, so that saves us a little bit of room. Next up, I am going to deconstruct our cave. Oops, not a growing zone. It's not what I wanted. And the reason for is I think it's hot enough to really piss off the bugs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically ding-dong ditch. Ooh, alright, I was expecting something more dangerous. How's my own health? I don't know where these bugs are. Some of you know. I saw in comments that you all tried to expand somewhere and found the bugs. Obviously bugs exist somewhere, but I don't know where they are, and that's scary. Alright, okay, hold on 1 second. We're on wake up, so I'm not gonna rest, but I guess harvesting the rice plant would be the smart thing to do. We seem to have plenty of rice. Oh, a raid. Alright, so let's see if this guy... Dumb labor. I really want someone able to do dumb labor. Most of the pawns that have been visiting me are not able, and as a result, I'm just not that interested in them. And down he goes. I don't think he is really... Poor cloth pants. Yeah, not exactly worth messing with anyway. Yes, I could have taken his pants. It wouldn't have been dead man pants, but I didn't feel like doing it. Alright, so I've let the kibble deteriorate, but that was kind of planned, more or less. Might be worth trying to build a better bed. Also, I was going to attempt to... Oh, I don't have the research for it yet, so I take that back. I was going to do tree sowing as my next research project. Try to get some cactuses sown into the ground. But first things first, I guess marble walls for my beautiful dining room. And this will be a bedroom. This will be a rec room. It's a pretty big bedroom, but I figured, why the hell not? Let's do even marble auto doors. And then that means another marble auto door. Okay. And I'll probably end up double insulating it too, which means I need to move this stockpile over a little bit. Nice. I'm a bit of an incompetent cook, and as a result, I am laying on the ground with food poisoning. The mix of the mechanites and the food poisoning basically knocked me unconscious, and there's nothing I can do. Luckily, I am sitting behind at least one steel spike trap. But yeah, this is not a good position to be in, needless to say. Ooh, a little bit of vomit. 100% pain. Very nice. So one of the things I can do to make the pain go away is psychoid brewing. And I guess I'll prioritize that research because I have a lot of psychoid leaves, and if I brewed them into tea, the pain I experience from the food poisoning, or really from the mechanites, would be decreased. And maybe it wouldn't not have knocked me unconscious because... What is interesting is the mechanites are giving me really good blood pumping. So I might actually recover from this sooner than normal. It's one of the beautiful things of like cybernetic hearts and stuff like that. But I must say, I sure am vomiting everywhere. So, given that camel hide is a very well-insulating material, I really ought to go for this sooner than later, as soon as I'm able. Right now, I'm just laying in the puddle of my own filth, like you would in college. Starving and exhausted, yeah. Yep. Okay, I'm now recovering. But I'm still in intense pain, and mixing that with malnutrition is not going to help. Malnutrition is going to lower my consciousness as well. And this was a trifecta of terribleness. Yikes. Okay, so I collapsed due to extreme exhaustion. I almost am tempted to just throw those meals out, but I've already eaten one, and it seemed to be okay. Oh boy, that was that was interesting. I'm glad it wasn't fatal. Having a competent cook, obviously, is a very good thing. Having an incompetent cook is obviously a very dangerous thing. Alright, Mr. Omni, let's go get the camel hide. Now, the thing with this camel hide is I really think I'm only going to make it into cowboy hats because I don't have enough for a duster. And I think it would be a little bit of a waste to do it with anything else. So let's go ahead and make a cowboy hat. I think, well, let me double check. I want to make sure that cowboy hats protect me the most from the heat. Off the top of my head, I think that is true. Yes, it is true. Okay. The social impact is lower. Bowler hats and tribal headdresses give you more social impact. And then the tribal war veil gives you a little bit of a pain shock threshold. But the cowboy hat is the coolest thing to wear. So let's go ahead and make it out of camel hide. And hopefully we get a good one. Yeah, a normal one. Okay, so if we look at this normal one, it protects us from 21.6 compared to the good one is 17.8. So yeah, I mean, it's significant enough. Now we're protected to 137. As you can see, it's actually very hard to get your temperature protection up. Tribal insulation might be better, now that I think about it, than oh, I need 60 ingredients. Oh, I really should have made travelware. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make travelware out of cloth. And I think that will give me, let's see, this is 17 degrees. Yep, so that obviously gives me way better protection than the shirt and pants. Tribal wear is bad for armor, but good for temperatures. Is sort of the moral of the story here. And what I can do is I can try to make another tribal wear that's even higher quality. So if I can get Hyperweave or Devil Strand tribal wear and a Devil Strand or Hyperweave duster, and same with the cowboy hat, I could be potentially very well protected from the heat. Because right now I'm protected, let's see, I'm protected to about the temperature that it is outside, which is a lot. All right, let's go ahead and try to get one more better travel wear. Oh, hello. That was really cool. Masterwork. So this masterwork is about as good as we can get while uninspired. Okay, I think it's marble wall time. All right, let's go ahead and force construction. I should have put the power in afterwards, obviously, but so we are just breaking our own cabling. But that's actually all I have time for in this episode. Obviously, episode 6 will air in, well, just about now, if you've watched the whole video. If you have any feedback for me, drop me a line. If you have any questions, I'd love to be able to field them. If you know where the bugs are, don't spoil it. I'm actually looking forward to getting ambushed. And I hope to catch you all next time. So if you're trying this out for yourself, good luck. And if you like the new mic, let me know. Adios, everybody.